Last time we were here, I showed an example of the students program where we were using an if statement, and we were using the if statement to decide whether we had too many students in the class or not. But a problem that was with this program is when you run it, if you say, yes, I have 45 students in the class, it would say, hey, that's way too many students. But if you run it again and you put in, say, 22 students, you'll notice it doesn't tell you anything. So we could fix this by creating the inverse if statement, and let's just do that now. So we could say if it was less than or equal to, that would be the equivalent of the opposite. And we can say, let's do print and just say not too many students. So this would be much better. We actually get some feedback. It tells us that we don't have too many. So that's a better solution, but we have to make sure we're careful then about writing the exact opposite that picks up every single instance that is not this here. So there's got to be a better solution. And it turns out there is a better solution. It's called the if-then-else statement. So the way the if-then-else statement works is we already have our Boolean expression. If it's true, we perform this, and then else, the computer lets us put something else here, and it automatically, because it's just an else, we don't have to come up with another inverse if statement. We will either go here or here. We have to go to one. We can only go to one. So this is a much better way of doing it. In our top-down design, now we will tell when we have too many students and not too many students. So the rest of our top-down design is the same. And our flowchart looks very similar. Last time we just went straight to stop, but now the no or the else part now has its own output. So this is if the Boolean expression is true, and if it's not true or else, we come down here. Notice that we're still marking both yes and no. And in pseudocode, it will look very similar. The else will be formatted all in bold and italics, and we will just say not too many students. So I'm just going to grab this to make sure I'm putting in exactly what we should say. And so all of this can just be replaced with the else statement. So that is much easier to do. And now we can just run our code. I'm just going to run it in the terminal this time. So if we have too many students, say 35, it should tell us that we have too many. And if we are under, it now says that we have not too many students. So normally when we have an if, we almost always put an else statement so that we can catch the opposite of what we were checking for in our Boolean expression.